Summer 2026. Although it was flown by quite fast, it was a pretty eventful summer for me. Sirens, trains, aviation, and of course my mainstream return to YouTube. But let's circle back to that train part, because today's video is going to be all about how the rails made such a big part of my summer this year. What 1.2 million pound piece of equipment from the past, a living piece of railroad history. What steam locomotive built by the American Locomotive Company back in November 1941 had me over here breaking my back in the Canadian wildfire smoke and all those 80-degree days, 90-degree pushing days, just to hear that Hancock long bell 3 chime steam whistle demand authority across northwestern Indiana and northeastern Illinois. If you already know, you already know that I know. I'm talking about the world's largest steam locomotive still in operation today, the Union Pacific Big Boy number 4014. Now, this journey and adventure started on Wednesday, June 3rd, back in West Chicago when I went to go see this behemoth sitting on display from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. But I kinda overstayed my welcome by like 10-15 minutes. That's no problem. Who can really get enough of this site?
That's what I think really captures people's imagination. Seeing a locomotive like this fully operational, it is doing all the work. It is producing a tremendous amount of power. That power is controlled right by your hand. First of all, it's 2026, and a big boy is traveling across the country. An operating steam locomotive anywhere is fascinating, but this locomotive, its size, the power, just the specifications impress people.
Yeah, but I can't get any pictures because she's standing out.
You can scooch the camera.
She's by the tracks over in that area. By the guy waiting in the tracks. Don't worry, that's all.
I am
After playing catch-up with the big 4884 steam locomotive from Knox to Valparaiso and everywhere else in between, we finally caught up with the consist and made it in front after it had to slow down and crawl through an Indiana Harbor Belt yard over north in Hammond, Indiana. Now by this point, it's later in the day, the wildfire smoke is starting to clear, it's cooling off outside a bit, and I am pretty tired. And if I'm pretty tired, likewise to all the other people who've been chasing this locomotive for hours now, all the miles, I cannot begin to fathom how tired that crew must be. But after traveling 150 miles in the time span of 8 hours, the crew and Big Boy have finally arrived into Dolton, Illinois. This is the point in Big Boy's journey that he comes off Norfolk Southern tracks and back onto the Union Pacific mainline tracks. So on the downside, this means it is time to bid farewell to the Norfolk Southern 250th anniversary painted locomotives. But on the upside, in these next few clips, you're going to see Big Boy shove backwards into Dolton Yard or South Holland Yard, whichever one it is, because further north is in Dolton, and there are signs that say Dolton Yard. Further down, marked on the Pacific's map, it was marked for South Holland. Potato, potato. Enjoy, Big Boy. Friday, July 17th, was the last opportunity to see the big boy rumble through Northeastern Illinois this trip. And after resting up from the previous day, being out in Knox all day until we made it back up to Dolton and of course drove home, getting some rest, I got up the next morning and drove right back to Dolton on the little corner I was at right outside the yard with intentions to catch him leaving and take that all the way to Lockport to see him highball out. After a delayed departure by about an hour and a half, the big boy began to slowly crawl north out of the yard and onto his westward journey to Dwight, Illinois. And although he is moving really slow right now, you will not only be able to see the amazing detail of this locomotive, but the next video in Lockport surely will not disappoint.
Hey, the baseball cap! You! Thank you.
again. Pretty soon it's gonna make that curve and you'll be able to see it.
Like there. That's okay.
It's there.
Oh, we can't.
Get off the track, buddy. He's hauling.
And with that, my show and tell of Big Boy number 4014 comes to an end as he charges westward, fast and furious, on his way back to Cheyenne, Wyoming. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I also hope I got y'all to think the same thought that I had when I saw him move all these times. What a big boy.